Well, it has been a while since I've put something up, so I wanted to go ahead and start getting into some of the festivities this season with a jack-o'-lantern sketch, working on a pastel paper with soft pastels. And so just kind of getting the basic layout here going. Kind of working with some tones that can blend in a little bit later when I want to get the main color going on this thing. So the biggest thing is just choosing the different tones to use. So kind of just working with the side now and kind of laying down that sort of block color there. And so this is actually based on a little sketchbook sketch I did a little bit earlier, just kind of working through some different ideas of things to get down. So I'm kind of looking at that as I go. So kind of getting some of that darker tones, kind of get some of the grooves going here. It's kind of looking like a basketball right now. So I just want to get in there and blend a little bit, kind of get some of the coverage across the paper. This paper's got well, it's actually a double-sided paper. It's got a fine tooth on one side and a rougher tooth on the other side, so I'm on the rougher side, but that way it can kind of hold a little bit more of the soft pastel on there. And so just kind of working some of the pastel into some of the tooth and kind of getting some of it darkened up and blended up a little bit. This also helps me get a little bit more down later. So there's not quite so much pastel in just one spot. So if I want to go back and add color, like when I'm doing the eyes and stuff here. So I've got this thing on just a drawing board sitting on an easel. And then I've got a piece of cardstock down at the bottom that's catching the pastel, which with the hope to maybe recycle a little bit of it later. So just kind of getting some more color down with this part, and can tell that these areas where I've got probably about 2 to 3 layers now, it's starting to get a little full on the paper. It's not wanting to put down quite so much as I go over with some of the other colors. So this is very much a sketch. So it's still kind of rough around the edges when I finish. So kind of keep working here and try to get some of the lighting effect going with the eyes and things. And again, for the most part, I'm just kind of leaving it kind of rough right now as I build up the color. So just getting some of those different yellow values kind of built in, and different tones and things like that. Some of it I don't want to be quite full power yet, so I kind of tone it down, and then when I go back over this brighter color, try to make it stand out a little bit. You can see it kind of how it's blending in as I go with the orange that's underneath, but again, I can tell it's getting kind of starting to get kind of full on the paper a little bit. So I'm debating adding the black for the eyeball, but I was like, well, I'll go ahead and throw some in there just to get that sort of a cartoonish look to it. And again, just kind of toning it down by blending everything in a little bit and then going back over it with a brighter color. So I start trying to leave a little edge here, just so like when you have the jack-o'-lantern, you can have that sort of off-color edge. So now I'm just trying to get the next little spot going here. So now add the stem to it and have a couple of sort of not quite chartreuse screens, but something kind of fit that range pretty well. So kind of going back in and filling in some of the areas here just very quickly. So just kind of go between the grooves and start laying down some more of the brighter orange color in there. And so just trying to make sure I can get enough layers on here without getting everything too full. Because it is, if I keep overworking one spot, the grooves will get filled up a little too fast and won't be able to blend any more out. So just kind of go through and kind of knock some of this down a little bit. Kind of blend it out, smooth it out a little bit. So now kind of start picking the things that'll kind of go around it here a little bit. And I've got some foliage and stuff I want to work in and kind of get some of the shadow effects going a little bit. Of course, I think with where I'm going, this part will kind of disappear into the rest of it, but go ahead and see kind of what this looks like. So with the pumpkins and things like that kind of grow on vines, so kind of start showing some of that effect in there. Maybe he's still sitting in the pumpkin patch. I've only got the paper tacked down on one end, so it's kind of flopping around a little bit. So I've got this dark green I'm using right now, and I kind of want to get some lighter colors kind of worked in, but I know I'm going to do some stuff with the background here in a minute. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out yet. I may end up going back over it some. Kind of put some of these lighter things in there, see if we can get a couple of different tones going. Yeah, well, probably should have used a different tone on that one first, but we'll come back and add some more to it here in a little bit. Not sure if this part's going to work out the way I want it to, but we'll go ahead and try it since I'm just kind of playing around with stuff here. So I had a pencil sketch I'm kind of basing this off of, but I hadn't done anything with color with it. So I'm just kind of grabbing a few things that seem like they would look kind of good with everything. Kind of blend that in a little bit and let everything kind of start going together. This is definitely one I would need to go back and do a more finished version of if I want to use it for something. Been a while since I worked on a full sheet like this. This is, I say full sheet, well it's not that large, but some of the last ones I've done have only been about 8 by 8. Alright, so go back over this light one, see if we can't tone it down a little bit. Alright, just kind of start working out the purple, kind of getting this background done and see what happens. Kind of just doing a sketch like this is kind of a surprise for everybody. Alright, so now I got some really dark blues with probably a touch of black kind of worked into it. See if we can't get some of that nighttime effect going. Don't really want it to overpower the rest of it. So just kind of throw it in there kind of loose, and that way I have room to put some other stuff in with it and kind of blend everything together again. This thing's making a lot of dust with this. Pastels seem to be, I don't want to use they're a dry media anyway, but seem to be a little rougher usage than normal with this side of the paper. Like I said, this is a two-sided paper, so it's got some bigger tooth on this side. Lets it hold more color, or I should say more of the soft pastel, so lets it blend a little bit easier when you get more down on it. But it does make it seem like you're using you're drawing on sandpaper. So I'm just trying to work out some of these areas here and kind of get everything kind of filled in a little bit with just some blending. Alright, just kind of go through and do some touch up here and there. And being just a sketch, I don't really want to overwork this too much. I just kind of want to get something down and have the idea there for later. I know if I try to do this in like a regular sketchbook or something, it does not hold as much pastel, so it gets real powdery real quick. But this rougher side of the paper is doing the same thing with all the powder down there. Alright, so just go back and touch up a little bit on the leaves here. And then be getting toward the end here in just a minute. I don't think I'll do too much more to it. I do want to blend everything out a little bit more on the top. But I will say, if you like these types of things, make sure to hit subscribe, and that way when I do some updates here in the near future, notified that some stuff's been updated. So I plan to be getting some more of these longer videos in the near future. Probably do some more themed stuff like this, and then I got some regular landscape type things and soft pastel drawings I want to get down as well. So I do have a few more drawings on the channel with some actual drawing of pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns and things like that. But in the near future I'll be probably focusing a lot more on the soft pastel side of things. Alright, just a little bit more here, and I'm probably going to be getting close to calling this done. So this is a kind of off to the side view with the easel camera and stuff, but I'll get you a straight on view here in just a second. Alright, well Well, thank you for hanging out with me, and here's the full view, and catch you later.